What's up everyone, Saintsfan back again with another GTA 5 Q&A video. Today I'm going to be answering a bunch of your guys' questions on the gun running DLC, so hopefully you guys enjoy. If you didn't check out the video I did yesterday on how much money do I think the gun running DLC will cost, at least from what we know already, definitely check that out. I didn't want to include that question in this video, in this Q&A, just because that's a super long question to answer. So hopefully check that out if you're curious as to what I think the DLC will cost and how much you're going to need. Now, without wasting any time hopping into this, Brecken, will you do some a informational video on all the gun running bases, mobile command center, or mobile operation center vehicles and weapon modifications and all that stuff? Yes, dude. Once the DLC comes out, whenever it does release, I will be making a ton of videos letting you guys know what you should get, what you should purchase. So if you don't want to spend a bunch of money testing it out yourself, then just wait, for my videos to come out so you know what to buy and how much money you're going to need to actually spend. Next question from Darren. This isn't a question, but hasn't Rockstar dropped the DLC on other games in the past? Why wouldn't they drop it in E3? Rockstar would rock that. Yo, that is a question, Darren, so you're wrong on your question. Anyway, he does bring up a good point. In the past, they have released DLCs on days when other games have come out. I know for a fact Watch Dogs, well, it was either Watch Dogs 1 or Watch Dogs 2. I can't remember which one, but they released a pretty major DLC when that game came out. And then I think there was a Call of Duty release when they released another DLC. So they have released DLCs during or when other games have come out. But the question, why wouldn't they drop it at E3? I don't think they would. I mean, look, it might come out at E3, but the reason I personally, if I were running the company, wouldn't drop it at E3 or on Tuesday, just because many people, while they may see the trailer and they may see, this really cool stuff in GTA Online, they're going to forget about it, an hour later or 30 minutes later when even crazier news comes out about some other game, whether it's Destiny 2. And I've said this before, over the last 2 weeks, I've said this constantly. Destiny 2, Battlefront 2, the new Call of Duty game. There's a bunch, there's probably way more than I'm forgetting. There's a bunch of other awesome games coming out, and E3 is the time when a bunch of information comes out about those games. So it's not like they're just competing against one game. They're competing against every game, basically the entire game community, because E3 is that big. E3 is for everything. So that's why I would say they wouldn't drop it at E3. But hey, it's Rockstar again, dude. They do crazy stuff, and maybe they do drop it next Tuesday. I don't know. Max, besides the ones we saw in the screenshots, which vehicles would you like to see added? I mean, I'm gonna say the Hunter, although I don't think we're gonna get the Hunter. Other vehicles, though, I hope we actually kind of get some new sports and super vehicles. I know those have sort of been overdone, every DLC it seems like it comes out with a new sports and super vehicle. But look, I like sports and super vehicles, so I always welcome more. And they actually have not showed off a regular vehicle in the screenshots. So I'm hoping we get some actual regular vehicles in addition to the military style ones that we see in the screenshots. Jobless Saints fan for the win. In the upcoming DLC, how many cars do you think they will drip feed? A lot, I feel like. I mean, that's what they do now. So if they're going to extend this DLC, for the rest of June and maybe even through July, I could see them drip feeding a lot of vehicles. Maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles total. Lewis, do you think Meriwether may have a part to play in the gun running DLC? I mean, it's definitely possible, but I don't actually believe we're going to get Meriwether in this DLC. I think it's just going to be something completely separate. And the reason I kind of say that, one, I mean, the biggest clue is we're working with Agent 14, and he's part of the, IAA or the FIA? I forget what he is from single player because I haven't played it in so long. So I don't think we're going to be working with Meriwether. Dan, how much do you think we'll get paid for weapon supplies, like exporting cars or biker business stuff, or neither? I think we're going to actually get paid a lot, at least comparing it to all the other stuff in the game. Let's just say the import-export missions get you 250,000, I believe it is, per hour. I'm thinking this weapon supply stuff is going to be around maybe 300, maybe even pushing 400,000 per hour. Rockstar have constantly, given us more money with each new DLC, so this would, if they're following that trend, this would just, you know, be even more than the import-export DLC. And I think that's fair, especially if the DLC prices are really high. Alex, compared to how big the CEO offices and biker clubhouses are, how big do you think the bunkers and the mobile operation center will be? Well, we already saw from the screenshot, the mobile operation center, it's going to be a truck trailer, so as big as you can make that. You know, I don't think it's going to be gigantic. But the bunker, this is what's interesting. Since it's underground, there's really no limit. You know, with the CEO offices and the clubhouses, although they're not 100% accurate to the buildings they're in, they are somewhat reasonable. It's not like you're walking into this little shed and there's like a million rooms, you know what I mean? So I feel like there were some limitations on those two things, but the bunker, since it's underground and you can have, you know, however much space you want, who knows? Who knows how big? I think they're going to be pretty big though. Snub, do you think that associates will be able to customize their weapons in the bunkers? In one of the screenshots, I don't know if it hinted at it or what, but one of the screenshots there was two people in the bunkers, two players. One player was just walking, and another player was by the weapons workshop, it looked like. So I'm wondering if maybe in this DLC, Rockstar are going to allow us to share our stuff with our associates. Like if you're an associate that's part of an organization, you know, maybe you being an associate can use all the weapons that, you know, the whatever the head person buys, or all the vehicles the head person buys. That would be really cool, because then if you maybe had a friend or something, maybe you're that person that doesn't have a ton of money but your friend does, then you can still enjoy the DLC without, you know, having to buy a shark card or just grinding endlessly for money. So I really hope that's the case. I'm hoping that maybe in this DLC they allow us to actually share this stuff with our organization. That would be really nice. Jobless Saints fan again, how do you think the bunkers will work? Will they be indestructible and have a missile defense system like the yachts? I don't think they're going to be anything like the yachts. The mobile operation center might be, but the bunkers are going to be like regular buildings. I mean, they're going to be underground, so I don't think you're going to need a defense system, and of course they're going to be indestructible. Someone talking about the mobile operations center, Adam Hobbs, will that be invincible when driving in or only when used to spawn in? I mean, obviously I don't know, and that's definitely one of the main questions I want to know. How, you know, or how is it going to work when the DLC comes out? But I'm thinking it's not going to be invincible. It's not going to be indestructible, because why would they allow you to put guns on an indestructible vehicle? That'd be really overpowered. So I feel like it might have a ton of armor, but it's not going to be indestructible. Daniel, will gun running be the last big update for online? I want to touch on this question just because, you know, we always get this question, but I believe it's not going to be close to the last DLC. They delayed Red Dead Redemption 2, and I feel like they delayed that for a reason. They delayed it so they could release more DLCs throughout the rest of this year. So no, I don't believe it's going to be the last big update. And then the last two questions, the questions of the day, you guys can let me know in the comment section. Daniel, again, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the gun running DLC? And then Bleonk Nation, what are you most looking forward to in the DLC? I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at an 8 right now. I mean, a lot of this stuff I'm really hyped for, especially them showing a bunch of the information and a bunch of those screenshots. I'm really excited. What am I most looking forward to? Oh man, that's a tough question. I mean, there's a lot. Obviously, the APC tank is going to be freaking awesome, especially with that anti-air. I'm really excited to blow up some Hydra griefers in the sky. The mobile operation center, that looks like a really interesting thing and something totally new to the game. So I'm excited to see how that plays and how the gameplay sort of changes around that. I think I'm sort of going to go on a sleeper pick here. I'm most excited for the missions, not like maybe the special vehicle missions or whatever, but I'm most excited for how we're actually going to make money with this DLC. You know, the import-export missions, or just the import-export stuff where you go get the cars and then you sell the cars, I really enjoyed that. So I'm really excited to see what they do with the gun running, and I'm excited to see if it actually is just as good and just as fun as the import-export missions. So that's what I'm going to say. But you guys can let me know in the comment section what you were most looking forward to. But that is it with the Q&A. Thank you all for watching. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy, subscribe for more awesome GTA content, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.